Okay, so I might be a glutton for punishment here, but I tried a new strategy to get my Etsy shop, which I've had for over 10 years, to finally start selling like it used to. Because I have around 3,000, just slightly over that, sales in my Etsy shop currently. But oftentimes now I'm only making a few sales a month, and it's just really awful. And so I'm willing to try just about anything. So I went to YouTube and I found this Etsy guru who has a strategy that I have never tried before. There are 5 parts to my test. 2 of them I got from the Etsy guru, and the other 3 I decided just to throw in there from my experience as an Etsy seller. First part of the test is having a loss leader item or several of these items in your shop. A loss leader is something that you are selling at very low profit or maybe even giving away for free, so selling at your cost. So what I decided to do was pick one of my art prints. This is a very popular one that I have sold lots on Etsy in the past, and I sell very often at art fairs. So I know this is a good product that my customers get really excited about. Normally I sell this 8x10 size print for $24 on Etsy with free shipping. I went ahead and marked it down to just under $10 free shipping. This is me making absolutely no money on this listing. This is the cheapest I've ever sold anything of mine online when it comes to a very perfect condition print. Now, I have sold misprints for less money per print, but they had ink splotches or some sort of damage on them. I've never sold a print in perfect condition for absolutely no profit, because why would you, right? It seems like a waste of time. But the theory behind this, if you're wondering, is that if you get a whole bunch of sales on your item on Etsy, right, because you're selling it so cheap, eventually later on, after it gets listed as a bestseller on Etsy, ideally, then you can raise your prices a little bit slowly so that you're still making sales, but then you're finally starting to make a little bit of profit. And the other theory that this Etsy guru said on their channel several times in several videos is that if you had a category of loss leaders in your shop that would be bringing you in constant traffic, even if you weren't making any money on those listings, it would elevate your entire shop in search, because it would get sales in your shop going constantly through Etsy. And they said that the ideal sales rate for a loss leader item was about 20 sales per day. And I was thinking to myself as I watched their videos, like, I don't know, 20 sales a day. I've never been able to have that on any of my listings in my shop, like ever in the last 10 years, even when my shop was doing really good. But I also never gave something away at cost on there where I wouldn't make anything either, because yeah, I think it kind of defeats the purpose. You need to sell your items for a profit, and you shouldn't just give away your work, but I'm willing to do it for an experiment in this video. Next thing that the Etsy guru on YouTube said to do was to keyword stuff my titles. Now, this flies in the face of what Etsy themselves say you're supposed to do on their site. They say you're supposed to just have a title that very well describes your listing, but doesn't stuff tons of keywords in there. So if I am listing my cat art print, it would just say cat art print by Crystal Cole, maybe colorful rainbow cat art print, but not a huge amount of extra words. But here's what I decided to do instead. I added a whole bunch of keywords, a lot more than I normally would put in my listing. I really stuffed them in here. So what I did is I had the cat art print, then cat painting, cat lover gift for cat mom. You see how I have cat lover gift and then gift for cat mom. They kind of are a run-on here between the two of them. This is how I can stuff even more keywords into the title, not putting commas in between everything to separate them, just this one hyphen at the beginning. So that way all of these keywords, which are such a mess and honestly hard to read and distracting, but this was suggested by this Etsy expert. So I'm trying their tactics because mine aren't working. So, but I wanted to go ahead and leave this hyphen here so if people would know it is a cat print. But then there's all this other stuff like kitty gifts for women, cat owner gift, feline art, cat decor. And one of the tips were that people often search for painting first and then cat later, or whatever you are making. So if you're doing a landscape painting and then landscape, and then maybe if you are looking for a winter landscape or a summer scene with a lake or something like that, you could put that after. But mine says painting and then cat lover gift, because someone might be looking for a painting that's also a cat lover gift, and this would describe my artwork perfectly. Next, I decided to A/B test my listings. This is when you have two different listings that you put up with slightly different changes, so that way you can compare the differences in how they perform. So my first listing is just the picture of the art print, nothing else. It's very basic on the initial listing thumbnail. The second one I chose was with a frame around the print. I did this because there were a lot of listings that I reviewed on Etsy that were at the top of search, and the majority of them had styled frames or maybe lifestyle type shots of the print that they were selling. I also A/B tested my keywords, as well as, most importantly, how I shared the listing off of Etsy. Because on my listing that is framed, I did not share it anywhere. I just allowed Etsy to display it in search like they should and like they say that they will, supposedly. And then the other listing, the one without the frame, I decided to use my share and save links, so that way I shared it all over social media, shared it on my YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. I also started new listings. I completely redesigned all of the photos, so that way it would tell more of a story about my artwork and me. I spent around 2 hours putting together these listings. I took new listing photos, so that way it would really describe my prints well. I wanted to even add text to the images, so when people are scrolling through these, they feel like they are getting to see everything about the print, and even a little bit of my personality, with the happiness guarantee and a picture of my cat. Of course, me in my art fair booth, because I want them to know that I am a professional artist, and so when I make their print, it's going to be high quality. And I even have a video of me painting the original painting to prove that I am not AI, that I am making these paintings myself, which sets me apart from the majority of people selling on Etsy right now, it seems like, unfortunately. And since I make the prints myself, I wanted to emphasize this in a photo. The other thing I tried, which I kind of thought I would fail, because every experiment I've done with Etsy ads have been complete failures lately, but I thought I would do it again, so I turned on Etsy ads for $5 a day, hoping that it would bring me in some traffic. And now for the results, which I've got to say, they are very disappointing. And if I didn't know that my art sells well in other situations, I would think something was wrong with my artwork, like I wasn't a good artist or something. And this is why I think that if you're trying to sell online, you shouldn't consider failing online as a signal that you are a complete failure as an artist, or that your art business won't work in in-person settings, or maybe even on other sales venues online. Because if you don't sell on Etsy, it doesn't mean much. So I end up selling one print through my share and save links that I put out on social media, and that is pretty awful. But what's worse is that I didn't sell a single sale on either of the listings on Etsy. The Etsy ads didn't bring me any traffic. I got a very little bit of traffic through search, but not much. This is an update from day 2, and so we're in E-rank right now, and looking up what is spotted on Etsy. So this is what E-rank is seeing I am appearing for. You can see my listing that I have shared on all of my socials, that I also recently made the sale from the share and save, is appearing quite well under cat artwork, cat decor, cat owner gift, gift for cat mom. Now the one listing that I also duplicated with slightly different keywords that I did not share anywhere is showing up under cat artwork. You see, it is position 48. Now I want to go back here to the first page so we can see this one is also showing up under cat artwork, but it is position number 2. So let's see what else is listed. So down here we're at number 20 for cat art print, And we're also under cat owner. Both listings got a boost in traffic for the first couple of days they were listed on Etsy. And then after that, it just trailed off to where now there's no views, no potential for sales, because if people aren't seeing my art on the site anywhere for sale, then they can't see that it's a good price and that I made a good offer and that they might want to purchase. So then I thought, well, maybe it's because these were brand new listings that didn't have reviews or anything like that on them. So what I did was I took some of my very popular and lower priced items. These are my postcards and stickers, my whole category on Etsy. I redesigned them just like I did with the prints, where I did all of the keyword stuffing in the titles. I lowered them to 50% off, so I wasn't selling them quite at my cost, but at a very steep discount, much cheaper than anything else in that category is for sale on Etsy for similar type of quality of items. Put them on there and I didn't get a single view, like not even any elevation in search results at all from doing this. And I even relisted the listings so that Etsy would see that I had made some changes to the listing and that I had put them on sale. These are listings, like I said, that have had a lot of sales and very positive reviews. So it doesn't make any sense why they didn't even get a single view during the whole first 4 or 5 days that they had gotten relisted on the site. The key takeaways here is that I don't think the Etsy guru's advice, this is why I didn't share who this particular Etsy guru was. I didn't want to call anyone out or anything, but the thing is their advice wasn't very good. I keyword stuffed the titles, but they didn't get me that much exposure. It did in eRank show that there was a little more visibility for the first couple of days in those listings that I did keyword stuff, rather than some of my listings that I will just list or renew in a traditional way, because they do show up for more keywords. But the problem is that Etsy is only giving visibility for about 7 to 10 views. That's what it seems like in my test, at least for my shop. And if you don't make a sale during that time, they're probably not going to continue to show it to people. To further exemplify this point, I want to show you where my listings are being spotted on Etsy by eRank. Now, I would like to say that this isn't a definitive list of everywhere my listings can show up on Etsy, because Etsy search is personalized, but this is if you are just a random user that doesn't have a history of searching for particular items on Etsy. But this does give you a pretty good idea of if Etsy is showing your listings at all, or if there's the potential for it. And you can see it down here, way down at the bottom. There is one keyword that is still potentially sending people to my listing, but it's only one of them. So gift for cat mom. All the rest of these keywords that I stuffed in there that were showing up on the spotted on Etsy at day 2, on day 7 are not showing up. But the biggest takeaway is that if you use your share and save links, if you are driving traffic from social media to your Etsy shop, it will result in a little bit of a boost in Etsy search, especially if you make some sales through those share and save links. And speaking of social media, if you're wanting to know the platforms that are the best for selling art online when it comes to social media, watch this video. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.